Hey, what's up, everybody? It's your man, Governor Wildstar. Hey, and welcome to the Black Side of Liberty. I appreciate you all for tuning in for this very special episode with a wonderful guest who I'll be introducing to you in just a moment. But first and foremost, all of you out there that are watching, I appreciate you all for just spreading the word, because I've just crossed 26,000 subscribers. That's 26,000 plus subscribers on YouTube. So all of you out there that are watching these videos, sharing my posts, helping me expand my audience, you're doing it. It's definitely working. So please definitely continue to help spread the message, get the word out there, and introduce your boy to people who don't know who he is, who I am. You know what I mean? Because we're trying to get this liberty movement in full throttle. And I need all of your people, all of you out there for your support, okay? Speaking of support, I've been asked how can people help me out with what I'm doing and what's going on, you know what I mean? Of course, all of you out there that are watching, this definitely helps, especially you people that sit and watch through the ads, you know what I'm saying? Because my channel is monetized and I'm trying to get paid. So if you could muster through sitting through watching some commercials through my videos, I appreciate it, because every little bit helps. And speaking of which, go over to my website, governorwildstar.com. Donate. $100, $500, $5.50. I'll take it. You know what I'm saying? Because it all goes towards investing into what's going on here. And what's going on is I'm doing my best to create a platform, this right here, a medium for we the people to have a true voice, not the right wing, not the left wing, a true independent voice where we can get along, we can talk about our misunderstandings or what we don't like about each other, and hopefully come up with a better way to live in a united America. And that's what we truly want. We want to bring together the United States of America into one melting pot, which is truly what we are. And we can do that. But first, we definitely got to make sure that we have people in position that are speaking up for us. So I need your help, your support. Do whatever you can, help me get the message out there. And like I said, you guys sharing all of my information definitely helps. So please continue to do so and subscribe. Get people involved. Have them contact me, see how they can get involved in the liberty movement. If you yourself want to get involved, definitely contact me, because I am shaping an exploratory committee to run for governor here in California, and it's all hands on deck. I have, as many resources as possible available to me, but that's only because of you. All right. So please definitely, like I said, continue to stay in connection with me. And as the show goes on, definitely drop me some comments like my man Anthony, who says, let's go. He's ready to get the show cracking, which we definitely are here. And he says, these are the only ads I actually sit through. It's worth the pay. Hey, I appreciate you, Anthony, sitting through the ads, like I said, because you helping put food on the table for my family. And I appreciate that. Every little bit helps, brother. And TJ Shelton, my brother TJ Shelton is in the house. He says, what's good? Be sure to check out the video, the Independence Day special me and TJ did right here on the Black Side of Liberty. So check that out on YouTube. I appreciate you too, TJ, for not only being on the show, but as well as tuning in. So with no further ado, I do want to introduce my guest who's been waiting patiently behind stage. So I'm going to bring her into the studio now. So everybody out there, say hello to Miss Myra Matejka, Iowa House District 70 candidate, right?
Absolutely.
All right, wonderful. Well, Hey, I appreciate you for being here on the Black Side of Liberty. And Myra, I know a little bit about you, and I'm pretty sure everybody out there may not know who the hell you are. So please, definitely, if you could, just tell the people out there, who is Myra Matejka? I did say that correctly, right?
Matejka. Yeah,
All right.
absolutely. So I'm Myra Matejka. I am in Iowa. I have worked in the Libertarian Party of Iowa for 8 years. I'm running for House District 70. I'm also a regional coordinator for Joe Jorgensen's campaign. And I'm just trying to spread the word of liberty and try to make people ask the right questions. And a lot of times we're asking the question of, how do we solve poverty? But I think we need to instead be asking, how do we ensure prosperity in our communities?
Yeah, that's actually a good question because a lot of people want to focus on minor issues, whether it be abortion or, like you said, criminal justice. But really, the main thing that affects us all is poverty. And when you get elected into, position as a House representative, you are a voice for the people in your community, for your district. So a lot of people may not know what that looks like. If you could explain to us a little bit of the, I guess, ethnic makeup of your community and what are the desires of, your constituency.
Sure. So the ethnic makeup of my house district is really a mixed bag. We have refugees from West Africa that are trying to find their place and make their way in America. We have a lot of Hispanics. We have a lot of Black. We have majority white. I mean, it's Iowa. We have very we have very rich people, and we have the poorest of the poor people. So in my particular district, every level of constituent is out there.
Great, great. Okay. So I did meet you during the campaign for president for Dan Berman. Dan
Mhm.
Taxation is Steph Berman. And he was the guy that kind of brought us together since we were both working on this campaign. So the one thing that I guess libertarians catch a lot of slack for is us speaking out against taxation and its a, application to us and why we feel so, taken advantage of by the whole taxation system. So, can you explain to a little bit of the people why and how is taxation theft? Because they want to know.
I love this question. My license plate says tax theft on it, and I get the question all of the time. It comes down to the fact that if you did not consent to providing money to a government institution for things that you don't agree with, then it absolutely is theft. Consent is what makes the entire situation null and void. If we can find ways, if we can answer questions to our problems that don't include government, because government always makes things more costly and less efficient. I mean, we're all smart people. We can do that without force. And by saying that it's theft means that if you don't pay, someone will put you in a cage. Somebody with a gun will come and take you away from your family and put you in a cage. So that's what makes it theft. I consider it thuggery, actually, but
Ain't that the truth? Yeah, they are definitely the biggest thugs in the country. And with them, I guess doing this whole taxation is theft scheme, they're the biggest scam artists in the country also. Because, like you said, they're taking our money and they're doing things with our money that we're not giving them consent for. Sometimes we're not approving of any of their choices, but they're doing it without our permission. So it's taxation without representation, which is definitely something that we should be protesting against. But many of the, I guess, people that are on the side of taxation feel like It's just us paying our dues as citizens. We should be wanting to, pay to make sure that kids are able to go to school, or that the roads are paved, or that, we have parks in every community, which I agree. We definitely should have those things. But you said one thing that stuck out: consent. And they are not getting our consent. So the taxation is theft argument in lies right there. Us not giving consent to the whole taxation system. Wouldn't you agree?
Absolutely. And I think everybody wants to have a nice community. Everybody wants to have a safe community. But everybody wants to look for the government to do that for them instead of building their own communities. Instead of looking to their neighbors, they're wanting to turn in their neighbors. So I think the whole way we look at society right now is a little bit upside down. I feel like I would voluntarily pay for the things that directly affected me, and I believe other people would as well.
You're absolutely right. Speaking of taxation being theft, my man Anthony just gave me a super chat for $1.99. Thank you so much. Woo! Super chat for $1.99. When I first started my show, I was asking for people to make donations via super chat, and I said if you did so, I would interrupt the show just to give you a shout out. So I appreciate it, Anthony. But I also did respond after that, after I got a super chat, by saying, don't do the super chats. Donate on GovernorWildstar.com. Reason being is because YouTube takes 30% out of those super chats. So while you thinking I'm getting all of the $1.99, no, they're going to take 30% of that, and then it takes 30 days for me to get that. So yeah, it's good, but it's not good. You know what I'm saying? Especially when taxation is theft and they're taking back for nothing.
You signed an agreement. You volunteered for that. So
exactly. You're right. But I don't want the super chats, which is why I'm saying donate GovernorWildstar.com, not YouTube. But speaking of which, we're going to move along because one of the things that I get asked about, or have been asked about lately, with this whole, conversation of racial injustice coming to the surface, and people in the country demanding more answers. And one of the things that comes up as far as conversation wise is how there's an extreme injustice when it comes to things being one-sided. Black people tend to get vilified just by being in a group. Let's say, for instance, with Black Lives Matter. Although I do not support Black Lives Matter, the organization or foundation, for the record, if I must keep saying it every time, I sure will. But I do not support the organization or foundation. I do, however, support the message and the movement, the people out there demanding for that change actually involved. So people to get down because of what the organization is doing, or that the group involved, the people, actually the demonstrators, are getting blamed on what the leaders, I guess, are doing. So there's this grouping of, and we see this happening a lot in the Black community, where we're again blamed by being a part of whatever we're involved in. But the flip side is you don't see that happen a lot on, in the white community. For instance, with this whole Pizzagate thing, you got Epstein, this multi-billionaire or multi-millionaire, billionaire, whatever the hell. He has all of these superstar friends, high-profile friends, political, people in office that he's associated with. They haven't been arrested. They haven't been, questioned. There's, just zero guilt being put on their shoulders. So if you could try to answer that in whatever best way that you can, because I know that's probably a heavy question for you, but if you could possibly respond to that in some way.
Sure. Well, I mean, I don't know the exact answer, and I don't know if it's the right answer. And we kind of discussed this before the show with the fact that I feel like a lot of times white people are scared to ask questions because they're scared to say the wrong thing. And I think these conversations start when we have them amongst friends first. I know you'd be the first person to tell me that if I misspoke or if I said something that was inaccurate or offensive or should not be spoken outside of our conversation. So I think those conversations have to start between friends. And I don't know why this happened. For the first time 2 years ago, I learned that my son's friends, I have 3 older sons, that their friends were being taught by their parents how to have an interaction with police. And it never even crossed my mind to address my boys with how to interact with police. I just told them, call me, tell the police officer to call me. And that's the end of it. But there's an entire instruction manual that Black parents are having with their teenagers that I wasn't even aware of. So I think that conversation definitely needs to be had.
Yeah, especially when it comes to the point that I'm making about being guilty by association. Let's just say they're traveling with a friend or something and they happen to do something, commit a crime, whether it be driving a stolen car or go in a liquor store and come out and they robbed it or something, but they would be found guilty also, even if they didn't know what the hell was going on, because through the criminal justice system we see a lot of that happening to where people that have nothing to do with the crime at all, that just was either there or was in the vicinity even, are now being found guilty or being prosecuted for the same charges, then being found guilty of it.
Right. And so in my instance, the conversation with my teenagers turned to, you have a responsibility to protect your friends. You have a responsibility to keep them out of harm's way, because we now know, because when you know things, you do better.
Yeah, definitely. And I appreciate you for answering that as best as you could. Like you said, it starts first with us opening it up for dialogue, not being afraid to speak about these issues and kind of getting it off the table. You know what I mean? Off of our shoulders, out of the shadows, and out in the open. So, with that said, I want to move on to another thing, because you kind of touched on it a little bit about how, when you speak with your friends and family, you kind of find it difficult, especially with being white person, about how opening up about these issues. And I have white friends too, where they tell me it's difficult to speak to their friends and family about these issues because they kind of buckle up or buckle under pressure and feel embarrassed about their history. So I want to ask you, when it comes to white pride as an individual, is it embarrassing? Because again, with this whole, I guess, racial stigma that's that's being brought to the surface, is it something that can be rid of and you can be proud of the true accomplishments?
Okay, so that's a really good question, because I don't necessarily ever think that my friends and family are involved in white pride, and maybe they are. I would never label it that. What I would say is that people are scared to acknowledge the actual facts, the situations that are actually happening. What I encounter in talking to people is, police shot this man because he did blah, blah, blah. Well, sorry to say, but police aren't supposed to shoot people even when they're guilty. So, because it's not their choice. They're not the judge and jury. So I think that's more of the discussion that I've been having lately.
Yeah, and excuse me. what I don't mean to be insulting by, I guess, using the term white pride, but I guess when it's used in mainstream media is to associate with white nationalism, which is then connected to like, racial oppression and violence, etc. But I'm just meaning pride as a white person, you being proud of your heritage, whether you came from Germany or Poland or Europe somewhere or whatever the case may be, America even proud of what accomplishments have been achieved by white people in this country. And there are those that want to be proud of being a white person, but feel like they can't express being proud, Irish and proud, they can't express being proud of their heritage as a white person because it'll be looked at as being racist. And that's something that needs to be addressed also, because that's just ignorant. If I should be able to express Black pride, or Hispanic people get to express Hispanic pride, I drive through neighborhoods all the time. I live in California, and you can see Puerto Rican flags and Mexican flags, right next to an American flag. So, everybody has flags. I see Armenian flags next to American flags. This is America. So the best part about us being Americans is us, I guess, us finding the true connection in what we love, and that's freedom. That's why we're all here in this country, whether you were born here or you just got here or whatever the case may be here. It's because you love freedom. So it shouldn't be something that white people should be embarrassed of. But then when it comes to the discussion of race, that's when they tend to shell up about being proud and white, So that's more to what I meant.
Sure. So, well, I guess I've never really experienced that because I was never raised to look at my skin color as a reason to be proud, or where I came from as a reason to be proud. I was raised to be proud in my accomplishments, and what was going on up here, and my talents, the things that I could do. I was raised to be proud of those things, and not my skin. So I don't know. I understand people's reasoning for, being proud of being Puerto Rican.
You just said something so profound, because that's really the true dynamic is people of color, Black, brown, whatever the case may be, when they growing up, where we have to establish some sense of pride in our skin color because we're so damned upon because of it. You know what I mean? Versus white people, you don't have to, that isn't the point. The point is just you being proud and being an American. You know what I mean? And if we were able to raise our kids here that same way, then we possibly have an opportunity to alleviate the racial tensions in our country. But when you see young children being raised and, they're being told to hate someone because of their skin color, that just sets us back another generation. Wouldn't you? What's that?
I said absolutely.
Okay, cool. I hope I didn't catch you too off guard with that question, but I guess that was the gotcha question, where everybody, but you handled it very well, Myra. And that's one thing that I guess as a candidate that, those people that are looking to vote for you could definitely expect is, for somebody to be a true problem solver and hear out those people that got you into office, whether it's something that you want to hear or something that you don't want to hear. So that's definitely something to be appreciated. And all of the people out there living in District 70 for Iowa, take that into account when voting for this woman here. And with that said, what is it that people can actually expect from you other than what I just said, as other things that I'm pretty sure that is more pertinent?
Absolutely. Well, Like I said at the beginning, my entire focus is making sure that we're asking the right questions, that we're, instead of asking what causes poverty, what causes prosperity. And part of that dynamic means taxes, like we already discussed. Part of that means property tax. And, we're just going to eat a little bit of the tax at a time. And so I'm running on a property tax reform platform that I think that once your house is bought and paid for, you should no longer owe property tax. I've been called a radical for this in the newspaper. But here's the thing. If you own your home, you automatically have a stake in your community. If you owe no debt to anyone and the property belongs to you, you're only going to build your community better. You're only going to make decisions that make your community a better place to be because you have invested in wealth instead of something that the government could take away from you.
Mm-hmm. Yeah, you're absolutely right. Property rights needs to be like the bedrock of where we start as politicians, and public representatives, when we're seeking to represent, the people in our community. And I think that's what kind of makes us stand out the most as libertarians, is because that is at the forefront of libertarianism is property rights, protection of property rights, your body, your mind, your physical property. And as far as us curing the ills of poverty, it could definitely be done with more inheritance, more wealth, and that has to do with ownership. You have to own your own, and when people buy a home, they think they own it. Well, no, you still owe property taxes. Some people owe mortgages, so they owe the banks. Do you own the land that the home is on? So you're absolutely right. Government has its hands in just too many pots, and all of them are in your house. And they definitely should not be taxing you on property that's already yours. It, as an insane idea as that is, it makes no logical sense to do otherwise, but for some reason they validate it.
Absolutely. So another thing that I am running on is school choice, which kind of goes on along the same vein of how do we ensure wealth? And education is one of those ways that we ensure wealth. And it starts with, I absolutely think prioritizing teachers is a fantastic thing, but I think we need to shift the conversation to prioritizing parents and prioritizing students and the individual. Every student has an individual need that the government one size fits all can't always ensure. So if I'm paying for a public school that's not educating my child in the appropriate way, then I need to be able to look outside of that. And just being wealthy not everybody has the resources to be able to look outside of public school for a better education. And we have to fix that system.
Yeah, I'm not sure what state it was in, but there was a Black woman that actually signed up her kids using a fake address, one for a certain district. What's that?
She was homeless and she used her friend's address.
Exactly. So her kids could go to school in the neighborhood that she wanted, this particular school. She was sentenced to what, like 5 or 7 years, something ridiculous.
And so what does that do? It removes her from her child. Her child's now goes to foster care. So that's another drain on the system. We could have alleviated the whole process if you just allowed people to choose where they wanted to school their children.
Right. Or better yet, get government out of where the hell I send my kids in the first place. If you're not taking money to be spent, or taking my money to be spent on education, then now I have the choice of what I want to do with that money. And I can give it to that school, and invest into my child's education versus that choice being made for me. And if it's and what you brought up about property taxes actually connects to what you're talking about as well, as far as education. Like here in California, the property taxes is connected to the educational fund. So property taxes fund public education. So you have communities where it's more wealthier and they're being taxed, and at the same rate where people of lower income are being taxed, which is higher because they have a lower income, but then they're not seeing that money being spent in their neighborhoods. It's being spent in some of the wealthier neighborhoods. It's ridiculous.
Well, and it kind of all draws back. People ask me, well, what if I rent? What if I'm living in government subsidized housing? What if I'm too poor to even pay property tax? It doesn't matter. You still pay property tax because it's embedded in your rent that you pay every single month. Your landlord doesn't pay property tax. They hand it down to you. So it makes everybody better if we can reform this whole system.
Yeah, absolutely. I mean, the Supreme Court just made a decision to where they said people's taxes now, your taxes, the working class, can be used on people sending their kids to a private school, a religious school. So I don't think that's fair. And because, those people that are making those choices should be able to afford it themselves. And if it wasn't taken out of their paychecks and my paycheck and everyone else's paycheck, then maybe they'd have more freedom or be at liberty to make that choice on their own versus us all being penalized for it. So it's sad because the justice system, isn't really providing much justice for us. It isn't really providing us with much choice either. It's really taking away choices for parents more than anything, or taxpayers, or residents of America, citizens, etc. But it's awful that we see this happening, and hopefully the people there in Iowa will be inspired by everything that you're saying and what you want to do for them. If you want to find out more about what she has to offer for the people of Iowa in District 70, please visit MatejkaInTheHouse.com. I really like the name of your website. Yeah, very clever. So everybody, please check out MatejkaInTheHouse.com. Contribute to her campaign. She needs money, y'all. Everybody needs money, especially us libertarians. That's the only way we are taken seriously when we are campaigning, period. The Republicans have millions of dollars. The Democrats have millions of dollars. You hear it every year about how they wastefully spend millions of dollars campaigning. Bloomberg popped in and out of this damn 2020 election, spent $1 billion. That's with the B, people. $1 billion just to lose, okay? So these people will wastefully spend money just to get in a position to help you, supposedly. Do they really? Is that really why they care? Hell no. They care about helping themselves. Myra right here, she cares about helping you. We, the people of the community, so please be sure to vote for her. And like I said, visit her website, MatejkaInTheHouse.com. Before I let you out of here, Myra, I do have another question, and I appreciate you for answering them all that I've asked so far, because I asked pretty crazy ass questions, as I'm sure you tell. But thankfully, I wasn't able to knock you off your rocker too much. But maybe this next one will. So speaking of rockers, you know what I'm saying? If you are one of the, I guess, misconceptions about us as people here in America is that we have so many things that divide us, but we have so many things that unite us. And I would love to start talking about some of those things. So one thing I could say is I grew up in a very diverse neighborhood where we did tons of shit growing up as kids, and all of them were fun. And, climbing trees and rolling down hills and snowball fights in the winter and all of that good shit. But one thing I want to ask you, because it's often perceived that Black people don't ride skateboards. So have you ever rode on a skateboard before?
Oh my gosh. I hung out with the skaters in high school. Like I was in high school when skateboarding first became the thing, and then rollerblading. So yeah,
All
one
right.
of my
Yeah,
first.
that's what I'm talking about.
Yeah,
That's what I'm talking
absolutely.
about. I actually knew a guy that ended up being a pro skater who was black. So yeah, I mean, we have people that enjoy skateboards, black people, white people, all sorts of people here in America. Skateboarding is just like an American thing. I don't know. When shit came out, everybody wanted to have a damn skateboard, especially with like movies and skateboarders in California and shit like that. Everybody wanted to be a skateboarder. But anyways, I appreciate you answering that question as well, Myra. Get your boys on some skateboards if they're out there, or some rollerblades. Get active, get out there in the community. We need to start going out there, getting involved, and definitely making sure that we're bringing more awareness to those things that unite us and those commonalities that we all share. So, Myra, again, I appreciate you for being on the Black Side of Liberty and talking to my crazy ass.
Oh, thank you so much for having me. I
Oh, the
appreciate it.
honor was mine. And like I said, everybody, please be sure to check out our website, matejkainthehouse.com. Take care till next time, Myra, okay?
All right, bye.
All right. Long live liberty. Peace. All right, you guys. So that was Myra Matejka. She again is running for Iowa House District 70, and she definitely needs your help getting elected. So please visit her website, matejkainthehouse.com, and connect with her ASAP. Find out how she needs help you in order to get elected. Okay. And before I get out of here, I do want to, of course, talk to y'all about this recall. Recall. TJ said he used to skateboard a lot as a kid. That's right, my man. Shit. Break out your skateboard. Skateboard your ass on over to the Republicans, national headquarters, so you can get some petitions to recall Gavin Newsom, get his ass out of office right now. Over the 4th of July weekend, he closed down counties and just announced today that they're going to be closing down even more counties due to the rising cases of coronavirus here in the state of California. I said cases, not deaths. We're not focusing on the deaths. There's a downturn in the deaths while the cases go up, right? Because naturally, if less people die, more cases go up. If less people are dying, then it's proving not to be as fatal or as much of a threat as they try to make it seem. So he's using his powers arbitrarily as governor to impose restrictions upon we the people that are unconstitutional, and we need to get his ass out of office right now. So please visit the website, recallgavin2020.com. TJ says, do you support? Oh, no, pardon me. Scott Schmidt. He jumped in the conversation, says, do you support a mask policy if we stopped closing down businesses? No, I do not. Masks should be optional, voluntary. We live in a voluntary society, Scott, so we shouldn't be mandating and forcing people to do anything that they want to do, especially if we live in a free country where you have the liberty to do whatever the hell you want to do as long as you're not hurting anyone, right? All right. So please definitely, again, visit recallgavin2020.com. Let's get rid of his ass. All right. And let's see. Next, please definitely vote libertarian. Okay. You guys, if you live in a state where you guys haven't had a primary yet, since they've been delayed over these lockdowns, please find out when your primary is going to be if you haven't had it yet, and vote libertarian. Vote Libertarian Jo Jorgensen, because she needs more votes as possible so she can hit that number and hopefully be invited onto the stage as a third-party candidate for the presidential debates. And that's what we want. We want another voice on that stage other than Trump and Biden's. We heard enough of their asses. I wish we could just not hear from them at all. Wouldn't you all agree? I would rather just hear from new candidates during the presidential election, because we've heard enough of Biden. We've heard enough of Trump. We know what the hell they're going to do. Let's hear somebody new. So please definitely be sure, like I said, vote, 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 Libertarian, wherever you are, okay? And of course, definitely be sure to come back onto my next show next week, Tuesday. I'm going to be having on Kevin Shaw, who's the chairperson for the Libertarian Party of San Fernando Valley, and he will be on talking about him being involved as a libertarian and all that he's done for the people here in the state, as well as what you can do to get involved with the LP near you. So Scott Smith says that violates the NAP of others. You're absolutely right. See, he's a true libertarian because he knows right there that a mass policy or any mandate violates the non-aggression principle against others. You should not be forcing people to do anything that they want to do. Scott, I appreciate you for pointing that out, as well as TJ, Anthony, everybody out there that were watching. Even if your ass didn't drop a comment, I appreciate you for just tuning in. Next time, hopefully you'll say something. But to those out there that did, I appreciate you for tuning in. And please definitely check me out next time on the Black Side of Liberty. So till then, y'all, long live liberty. Peace.